Oh, we are up and running. Good evening, all. How are we doing? I'll be just speaking to myself at the moment. Running a bit late tonight. Sorry, guys. No idea what I'm doing. Okay. What a glorious day it's been. Get myself set up and ready to go. Get that out of the way. We actually come straight up on Facebook then, and I'm so used to scrolling down, I've lost it.
I don't even know what's going on. Are we live? Are we not live?
Yeah, I've just seen this, and because I wasn't used to it being the first thing coming up, I pushed the button again, and I've lost us.
Right, let's do this then.
He's sweating.
Oh, I'm so unprepared. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Hope everyone can hear me. Oh, 5 people. Hello, everybody. Do you think we'll be being allowed now?
Maybe.
It's very rare, isn't it?
Oh no.
Very rare. Very rare. Hit the talk button, Russ. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Journey Through the Unexplained. We're live. It's the 18th of July, 2024. I don't quite know what was going on. I was so late coming on. It was about 2 minutes before I realised Paul was in the chat. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I just want to say a big thank you to the lovely Philip Solomon that has taken us through the last few hours over on Pulse Talk Radio. It's always a pleasure to follow on after the wonderful Philip Solomon. So I hope you can all see me, and I wouldn't be here without my wonderful co-host, Mr. Paranormal Paul. Welcome.
Hello. Good evening. How are we doing?
All right. It feels like summer is sort of potentially here.
Yeah, it's been a hot one, isn't it? It's been nice. It's been lovely.
It is. It's been potentially here. And that's only going to last for a couple of days of the high 30s. But I did read somewhere for the next 3 weeks, it's going to be 24 to 26 on every day.
Happy days.
So I think for the UK, I think that is quite doable, don't you?
Yeah, all day long.
We've just got to get through the next 2 days at sort of mid-30s out of nowhere.
That'd be all right. Fridays. You work hard all week, so Friday's my sort of. I take my time on a Friday, and Saturdays I don't work, so I should be enjoying
it. I've got to take a fan down to Simon on Saturday, so he can cool down a little bit. He said it was extortionately hot in the shop today. So
I do believe me and the wife are having a little journey down to White Elms Garden Centre at the weekend.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah. Brilliant. Lovely stuff. Look forward to seeing you then. Look forward to seeing you, even though I can see you now. Well, welcome to everyone that's joined us. We've got Mickey in the chat. We've got Joe in the chat. We've got the lovely Simon in the chat. Put your names in the chat. Let us know you are here. It should be a good show. If we've got these people in the chat tonight, we can have a good debate. Mind you, don't get lost, Paul. So we could have a really good debate going tonight with all the people in the chat, because as I say, there's a lot of things that are going on in the world, bizarre things. So, you know, we now are, the UK has officially under a Labour government for the first time in 14, 15 years, I believe.
Mm.
I think it was about that, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, 14 years. Yeah.
So we've got some, you know, some, all right, you know, some interesting times ahead. Let's just say that, some interesting times ahead. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know how it's going to go. But one thing that did turn out, it was a very low turnout, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was
30%, wasn't it?
Yeah, 40% of people actually voted.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah.
And I think it stuck out like a sore thumb that what was it called? I can't remember the saying, but you will tell me.
Proportionate representation.
It is needed. But I haven't heard too much of that being bandied around at the moment. I suppose it's because of, it's just a settling time, and
it's a discussion that definitely needs to be had, doesn't it? Let's be honest.
I do think so. I definitely do think so. I think looking at the votes and how that worked, it's very, very, what I would call very truly British.
People don't get what they vote for.
And without sounding crazy, I think it was yesterday we had the King's, didn't we? The King's addressing, and that, the 100-day start and all that knocking on the door with the stick, and, how much does that cost? Seriously. I know we're British, and I know that we love all our traditions, so to say. So I just don't see it. I'm not really into all the traditions anymore. I think it can be a lot more, bring back the traditions if we're in a state of economic dealings that we can afford this, because this is going to be taxpayers' money, that will have to form all this, knocking at the door, closing the door in the face, and all their regalia. Yeah, that's just truly British, like the trooping of the colour, all these, the kings and queens' birthdays. They have like 30 a year. It just seems crazy to me. But that's null and void. But is what we'll say is bring back the traditional gunpowder plot.
Yeah.
But you know what? I do sense there was a change needed within the governments. Have we got it? We may have it long term. Whatever happens, it may be a long term goal than short term. Everything's got to be done and built. Was it Rome weren't built in a day? So,
no, that's it.
And I'm not here to put politics in, but we are all here. We all know there's change needed, and if it works, it works. We have to tip our hat, and I'm the first to say that. But who knows where?
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, go, Paul.
I think it just shows. So on the build-up, they were really worried about a low turnout of votes, weren't they? Even the local elections had a low turnout of votes. And someone mentioned this, and it did get me thinking a bit. They were that worried about how the voting's going to go, because I think much less than what turned out. I think we mentioned it before, didn't we? Then the government hasn't really got a purpose if people don't vote for it. It will kind of be a bit null and void. And then miraculously, this party comes out of sort of nowhere, so to say. I know they've been about for a while, but all of a sudden, they were saying everything that the people were speaking, and it was kind of, it did get people thinking, now people have got something to vote for, so you're going to get a higher number of votes, which then puts that parliament back in play. Do you get what I'm saying? and the amount of people that voted for the certain party was quite a high number. And if them people didn't vote, can you imagine what the percentage of votes would have been?
Well, you just, how we, we look at it, yeah. So, for any sort of listeners over it, I know that Pulse Talk broadcasts a lot to the US and around the world. So when we talk about how our voting system works, just for an example on how this worked, is that I do believe that the Liberal Democrats, they got in excess of 70 seats, okay, within Parliament, with a vote share of 3.5 million votes. And the new people in town, Reform, they got something like 4.5 million votes and only got 5 seats.
Yeah.
I can't sit here to all our listeners and explain to you how that works, because I do not have a Scooby-Doo. I don't. It doesn't sound right. And I bet you get all the listeners over on Pulse Talk going, what is that crazy Brit talking about? That can't physically be right. In fact, it is. It all works by seats, and it's just crazy. And me and Paul and myself have spoke many times about this, whatever the words are. Go for it, Paul.
Proportionate representation.
Only because I can't say it, guys. Is something that I think that is needed to be brought in to the UK to give, a fairer reflection on the voting system. That's as, that is as simple as it gets. It's just, it needs to happen. It happens pretty much around the world, just not in the UK at the moment.
Yeah, I think we are pretty much the only country that still don't use that at the moment. So,
but it's what I will say to the people is that if you think our voting system is absolutely stir crazy and ludicrous, try to work out the French voting system, because that has about 20 different rounds and they all screw each other at the last hurdle. It's even more crazier than the British voting system.
Yeah, but look at what's happening around Europe and countries, who's getting sort of majority of votes and things like that. It's all the so-called far right, So all the lefts that are in power and pushing their agendas, it clearly shows that what they're pushing doesn't work for the people. Because if the people are voting for the other side, then it's not working for the people. And they need to start paying a bit of attention to that, I think.
But I think that is where, where the UK is a little bit behind the 8 ball in this situation. Okay, I think the UK is, well behind the. Sorry, I've got a noise coming. I don't know what it is. And that is where I don't think we're quite up to the times of around the globe yet. We are well behind that when it comes to the people with the far right. So I can, it's made its rumblings in this election. Yeah. However you take that, however you see that, there will be people out there, obviously, that see that party, Reform UK, quite a drastic, racist, against the grain and things like that. So,
it's the same old nonsense, isn't it? The same throw at Trump and all that. Well, he's racist, he's this, he's that, and it's. Do you know what? On the build up to the polls, I spent a lot of time. When I see a video coming, you know, either Labour, Conservative, Reform, or anything like that, I'll always read the comments. And there was one guy on there who said, I wasn't going to vote, blah, 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 blah. He said, it might have been him who said, no, that was it. He said, these people that are saying they're voting Reform, he said, I want you to tell me one reason what Reform will do for you. Not, you know, all the big things, you know, immigration, this, that, and the other. I said, tell me what one thing Reform is prepared to do for you. He said, so now I've got to go out and I've got to vote Labour, blah, 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 because he couldn't think of what Reform could do for him. And you start reading the comments, and I've been doing the same with the American elections. Always read the comments. And one thing I have noticed, you know, obviously it's not all, but the ones that comment majority with the left, sorry, it's the aggression. I mean, the aggression that comes out of these people is just shocking. I genuinely didn't think, even when they'll say, you know, explain something. So people will start explaining, and then they'll jump on the bandwagon. And it's the same with Labour for us. They jump on the bandwagon, and the hatred that comes out of them is shocking. And I think, hang on a minute, and they're calling these people racists and you know, Russian bots and this and that, and it surprised me, and it still is now. I urge anyone, when you see anything going on about the American elections or anything like that, or our Labour Party, just read the comments and see some of the hatred that comes from the left. My goodness.
But, you know, it's always going to be that. It's always going to be that. What's that? The left don't understand two words: tradition and respect.
Mm.
Me and Paul will try to remain as biased as we can, because obviously we are a broadcast. We do broadcast, and we want to try and stay on the airways as long as we possibly can. Okay.
Yes.
So I will read your comments
try not
out.
to go off on the rant.
No, I will read your comments out, but we may not address them. Okay, just for this, you know, it's your comments. Okay, but we understand. We understand. But we've got to address the biggest elephant in the room of what's happened this week. The UK have undergone its what about the rude ones? The rude ones are fine. I can deal with the rude ones, Christian, because Facebook don't tend to worry about them. Facebook normally take us off the air if we mention anything about a flat earth. Probably something to do with the new governments, and probably the next topic we're going to fall at. Great, Christian. Thank you. But I could put that that word there to many of the people that we were just talking about just prior to what you said. So, but obviously this week, what would you call it? The American presidential election journey has started off with the biggest bang going. A potential assassination attempt of Donald Trump. I think we can tear this apart in either direction of what we think has gone on here. And that is exactly what we're going to do, because I can guarantee that me and Paul will be on totally different sides of the fence of this one. And shall see where it goes. So it was Sunday. Was it Sunday? The president-elect. No, it's not a president-elect. Is it candidate? That wasn't even a candidate at that choice, was he? He wasn't selected by the Republican Party at even this point, was he?
We talked with Trump. You talked about.
Yeah. He wasn't even. It was only on Monday, wasn't it? He got fully represented to the.
Oh, I don't know.
Wasn't he? Yeah, he was.
The announcement of his VP. Oh yeah, no, yeah, because then he came out his VP.
It was on Monday. VP, yeah. Sunday, the attempt to meet his life was taken. It was fouled. there's been a lot of videos going around on all the big, obviously not big, but not Facebook, but the world of TikTok, of this potential assassination. And the more you watch the videos, the more, I can't help it, laughable it becomes. Because it was so, in my eyes, it was so staged that it was crazy. I just can't work out why at the moment. I have a theory and where my theory goes, but I do think it was just ridiculously stupid. I don't think it was needed, because I think what's that noise?
There was a car that just drove past. It might have been that.
That's right. It sounded weird. It sounded like a rumbling. 2 people died. Yeah, 2 people did die, but I don't quite know of how. I don't know if it was the shot from the president to the president's bullet. I don't know if it was the stampede after. I don't know if it was, the people shooting back to kill the person. I don't know. I genuinely couldn't tell you how 2 people died, but I don't think it was needed in my eyes. This was not needed. But Paul, I shall hand over to you, and I want you see is what we'll do is your thoughts on it first, and how you took it.
Do you know what? I'll be honest. I got up Sunday morning, went outside to have a cup of tea, sat in the garden, and started scrolling. And the first few bits that come up, I didn't even realise what had happened. I just sort of scrolled through. It was a bit too early in the day for politics for me. And when I realised what had gone on, I started to watch a couple. And I'll be totally honest, my first thoughts was, well, this looks a bit staged to me. That was my genuine first reaction. But the more I started watching it, I started to change my mind a bit. And certainly over the course of the week, I've definitely changed my mind. Not so much in the way it was staged, but I don't think it come from the Trump side. I think there was a definite hand in it. And the people that died, it was in line of fire of the shooter, from where the shooter was on the roof.
That's one past shot that went past the president, the other was from the shooter.
Yeah. When you look at where the stand was, where the people got hit, it was in line with the shooter. So it was where it's missed the president and gone through into the crowd. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think as the week's gone on, what worries me more than anything is the Secret Service at the moment. I think they've got a hell of a lot to answer for, especially the new Commander-in-Chief of the Secret Service, who was basically giving the order, especially to the sniper, not to engage the shooter, even though he had his sights on him for 3 minutes before he took the shot, which is very bizarre. And they were aware of this man on the building an hour before, or I think the Secret Service knew 10 minutes before Trump even got on stage. So he should never have got on the stage.
But this is, this was a total failure in security detail. This wasn't staged as it would be some shot to shoot his ear.
100%.
I would say the FBI knew he could get shot and allowed it to go on. See, but I get it, but there was too much, as you say, Paul. There was people screaming at police. There was people screaming at police. Mickey says, "Great show, lads. Thank you, matey." They were screaming to tell the police, "Look, there's someone going up on that building with a gun." and they said they didn't do anything about this.
Mm.
Now, I just don't see. I just don't see. As much as the FBI, we would have had all the Secret Service there, but I'm pretty damn sure as well that Donald Trump would have had his own guys there. I don't think that he's that stupid not to have someone that he would trust there, as known for a long time and paying out of his own back pocket. That's what I just think.
I think going in the future, that will be the case. But there's supposed to be no better detail than the Secret Service, Did he realise that the new chief of the Secret Service was appointed by the Biden administration, or by Joe Biden himself? I'm not saying that that's anything to do with it, but you've got to start asking questions here as well, haven't you?
You can't not say that. You can't not say that. One side of this story is.
But this goes again about what I was saying about the hatred, So look at the build-up to this event.
For you, Paul, before we just move on. The amount of camera footage of all these witnesses managed to get, isn't it odd that none of them got their camera out when they spotted the shooter minutes beforehand? Trump upsets the media and the deep state. He upsets all the weapon manufacturers making billions from the Ukraine. Just a thought. Sorry, Paul, did you want to read that?
Yeah, I think I read that wrong. Trump upsets the media and the deep state. He upsets all the weapon manufacturers making. Oh, sorry, yeah. They don't like the fact that he's against war, basically. How silly of him.
I don't think the Biden administration would have done this, because
I think they're more than capable.
But I think it also goes on the other hand as well.
I think you've only got to look at the way the justice system has attacked Trump over the last year, and it's hard to, like you said at the beginning, be biased between one or the other. But it's one rule for us, another rule for them. When I was talking about the hate speech earlier, look at what the amount of people that said De Niro, that man needs to be punched in the face. They're saying this man needs to be taken out. Even Biden 2 days beforehand said he needed to put him in the bullseye. Now, if these people were saying, if the other side was saying that about Biden, they'd be straight in prison just for saying it.
Yeah, I do. I get that. I do get that. And for me, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I can't see it. I'm not saying I can't see it. Of course I can see it. There's too much. I don't think the bullet hit his ear. I don't think the bullet was anywhere near him. I don't think it was anything near him. I think it was totally staged, completely. And I do generally feel it come from the Trump camp because of them. Really? The more videos I watched about it, and
what do you think the reason would be for that, Russ?
Because it's a Trump thing to do. He's blasé. Look at the images of him within his security detail coming out for bloody ear and punching the air. It's all that, to me, is all staged. There's no way on God's green earth, if I'd just been attempted to be shot at, and watching all the sort of military people on there and the Secret Service, that they would never have allowed that to happen. They would have never allowed. That's one of their things. They have to get him off the stage as quickly as possible. But they stopped. They allowed him to put his hand through. It's like a film. That whole sequence of events was like I was watching a film. And I'm thinking, mate, you've just had your life tempted on you. You've got everything going for you, and you're still putting your hand up and your head out. I'm thinking they wouldn't allow that. And it was all the moving of people before that shot. They cleared the whole back, knowing, you know, that Secret Service moved all them people away. All them people away. You watched them ushering them down, dashing them, move away, move away. Why was you moving them away? You know, there's nothing there for them to be moved for. They was there for the last.
Yeah, but don't forget, they were all aware of the shooter by this time as well, don't forget.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. They knew the shot was coming. In my eyes, the two people that died, this is why I say it was wrong, I think they were just...
But then if it was the other side, it would have been the same scenario. They knew the shot was coming. So
yeah.
Let's get the innocent bystanders out of the way, because there's only going to be one casualty here. You know, it's...
We've got loads of comments coming in, so let's read the comments, because, you know, we've got a lot of... Mickey said it's all spiritual warfare, it's ramping right up. Biden is just a puppet with dimension. Trump is a target because he's a tough approach. You mentioned the left angers. Many of the left are saying on TV that they wish Trump was assassinated. Disgusting, but it shows how much of a target he is. There is footage and photos of the bullet passing his ears. It could be doctored. It's so simple nowadays. It was a short-barreled weapon, not for a sniper shot. Yes, footage shows he was hit. Think Trump was in shock, but you would be after being shot. Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. But you saw the only defense I can put to my approach on it is that there was a different Donald Trump the Monday with the patch on his ear. Very subdued. But if it was an attempt on your life,
yeah, but the adrenaline had gone.
I get it. That's what I'm trying to. That's what I'm trying to sort of justify in my own head. There was two, but for me, look. At the end of the day, there was loads of mishaps here. Loads and loads of mishaps. Far too many to be anywhere as an accident.
No, that we agree on.
You know, it's just too far of an accident. Where it comes from, you know, you've got the deep state who run this whole shenanigans from top to bottom. It doesn't matter if you're Trump or Biden. Doesn't matter. They have either put Trump in the full running, you know, they're going to play to it the advantage. The only thing that I didn't like was that the security detail surrounding him and his face coming out with his fist in the air. That to me just looked the most movie-fied thing I've ever witnessed in my life, in the real world. It just looks so fake and so unreal. And even like to people not running, there was melees, and I know there was like confusion, but you watch when some of these videos, you know, look at that one shooting in you remember that wherever it was when 1,000 police cars turned up to the shopping mall.
Yeah, in Miami, wasn't it, or something like that?
Well, if this was an assassination attempt, we didn't have anything like that. But in a mall, we did. And this is where my head just kept going with it all the time. It just didn't see it. It felt like the deep state have to now change their tact. If they didn't want Donald Trump in, he would have been dead. That's fact. That is, you know.
Yeah, well, or it could have just been, you know, complete disaster on the Secret Service and the police front, and this young kid, that, you know, a 20-year-old kid, who, by the way, the FBI have said, you know, they're unable to break into his encrypted phone. The FBI cannot get into this boy's phone because it's that got that much superior encryption on it. They can't get in it. A 20-year-old kid. You know, I mean, for me, I do get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. But me personally, I mean, I've watched so much of this. You know, I see an interview of a woman that sells merchandise at Trump rallies. She goes all over the country with him. She's done hundreds. And when they were setting up the day before, when they were setting up the stand and the seats, her and her sister, and she even said, well, when you know, if you usually got an open line of sight either side of the stage, they usually bring in big trucks or something like that, just so there's a blockage or something there, you know, or the big like building trucks, you know, the solid things. And she even mentioned it to people then, saying, you know, obviously they're coming in later or tomorrow before he comes on stage, because they're never open like that. So something definitely wasn't right, you know. But I think with the picture, the fact you got the flag in it, that's not surprising. You look around where it was, there was American flags all over the place. I get that.
So do I.
So in my eyes, the more I think about it, before I go too deep into it, this man has been through so much over the last couple of years. He's been put through hell and back with everything that's done. I think there's got to be a part of him that thought this would be the next step. Because a lot of people were saying it. Tucker Carlson was saying the next step, all they've got left is an assassination attempt. A lot of people were saying it. And the fact that, to me, when I see him grab his ear and go down, I mean, he's been in a few movies, old Trump, innit? He can't act for shit, sorry. So, no, and he looked quite genuine. And the quickness he got down on that floor, he realised what was happening. And I think that adrenaline in him, when he got to stand up, he's got all these people that come out to support him, and he is very much about the people. And he would never walk past someone without saying hello or thank you for coming. The fact that they're all there, and he's got the Secret Service around him, and he's, you know, shooters down, he's been taken out. There's got to be something inside him, right? You know, the adrenaline alone, and the kind of guy that he is, to me, that could have forced his hand up in the sky.
I get it.
I think, sorry?
I get it. I get it. I do. I get it. I get it.
And I think it just... So the deep side of it, when people talk, I know Tina was talking on a group chat about changing timelines and, you know, and parallel universes. Maybe in one parallel universe they did get him, blah, 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 blah. But I heard someone speaking earlier. You know, we spoke about it a few weeks ago. Collective manifestation, the Great Awakening. When people think the same, things happen. You can change the world. You can change your life. You can change this, change that. The amount of people around the world that are awakening up, the amount of people around the world that want change, that want this. And when you've got someone like that, and the amount of people that collectively want him to survive, want him to go on, want him to live and deliver us from the world, the crap we've got around us at the moment, could that be enough to have changed that timeline? Because even Simpsons predicted that was going to be the takeout shot, didn't they? Yeah, and they got that one wrong.
But we have to look at Donald. We have to look at Donald Trump in general. That, you know, we look at the whole issue with Donald Trump, and he has that, you know, there's that obviously conspiracy that he's a time traveler. So he would have known this to be happening, you know. he would have known that to be of happening. So, but he looked that way. He looked that way. He was looking at the shooter. His head was looking at the shooter. Everything was in the right capacity for it to miss his ear, whatever he did. You know, how it worked, I don't know. I'm going to go back on loads of comments, all right? Because we've got if Trump gets in, then the Southampton train stops. You've got a point, Russ. You don't know the deep state in charge. Like I said, they can change what they like. Trump has won. Joe, not fake. It was meant to be that ET can affect the process. He could make a kid miss the target. Totally agree. Unless Michelle Obama runs, which I think will happen. Don't think this time. Yeah.
Sorry.
Secret Service infiltrated by the deep state. I love Trump. Changes Democrats are dead. So deep state reverts to murder. Joe thinks they will try and get him again. Mickey's all for Trump. So I'm reading the comments really quickly. Anyone suggests it's fake, then they're nuts. Well, I'm saying it's fake. Agree with you, Paul. Collective manifestation is definitely possible. Joe, I don't think it was staged due to the weapon and distance, etc., but I think it was allowed to go on. The deep state wants Biden. See, I can agree with half of that, but I don't think they do now. I think we're going to.
They haven't got a choice but to bin him there, have they?
I'm always nuts, Joe. I have to play devil's advocate because it was, to me, it was too staged. It was too film orientated for me, and there was too many things there that I'm sorry. There's people that have been around there for Donald Trump for years and years and years. May have been the same security detail that when he was president, he might have his best friend. He may have had someone there. And just like you said, Paul, wherever the trucks, someone would have picked that up. Someone would have picked that up. For me, there will be someone that's close to him that he trusts, infiltrated or not. And he would have gone, even Donald Trump himself, he's not a stupid man. He knows it.
He's also walking out and seeing the snipers up on the roofs.
He puts that trust in. But still, there'll be certain things there that he would have noticed. I just don't. Everything played into his hands. He looked the same direction. He pointed towards the sniper. He was dictating everything towards the sniper, that direction.
He was looking at the chart, wasn't he? The graph that was up on the board.
Exactly. So you're looking that direction. It wasn't this area, because everyone would see that. But the clench, go down, whatever it was, secret surface, bleed his ear. We've had no pictures of the clear marking on Donald Trump's ear. We've only had a bandage over it. There's been no physical photo of the ripped ear. We've only had a bloody ear. It's me playing devil's advocate. Anything can be done in this day and age. We are in a world.
Oh, no, I totally agree with that.
AI, video editing to an absolute T.
But for me, the only reason he would do something like that is for votes.
I don't think that's what I'm saying. He didn't need that.
This is to me. This is what crushes your argument, because
but was that
he wouldn't need to do something like that for votes. He was already well in the lead.
But it makes him now more of a. To me, it makes the deep state. For me, it's the deep state saying, you know what? We want this man. We want this picture. You're going to have it. We're going to give you the presidency. You're going to get shot. Act like a hero. We've got it. And then we think about it. The next 2 days, we get Mr. Biden, the president of the United States, coming down with COVID, looking on the death's door. Now, would it surprise you? Would it surprise you in the next coming days that we hear the passing of President Biden due to COVID?
First thing that entered my head as soon as I heard he got COVID, I thought,
so the deep state want him out. And I think it's too short a notice to put who they would want in there. So they've got to join the bandwagon. They've got to have what more do you want as a deep state? They've only got him for another 4 years. Can't have him for any longer. And that's him done. as president.
He couldn't carry it out for another 4 years, mate. He ain't got enough in him.
No, Donald Trump.
Oh, Donald Trump,
Donald
sorry,
Trump.
yeah.
He's only got another 4 years. So for me, it just makes, you know, and I hate to say it, but you think that when, you know, in America, when the Twin Towers come down, okay, and look at the iconic pictures that you see, the flag coming out of the you know, the Star Spangled Banner, I can't even say the word, coming out the rocks with the bloke's face there. You know, we see that young lady running through the dust. All them hero moments that you see in films. To the day Donald Trump dies, now the picture he will be remembered for is the day he had an assassination attempt, lived, and he come up out of the secrets. It's going to be the picture that will face his for the next, you know, they will wear it on T-shirts.
This is what I'm saying. You know, when you mentioned about them iconic pictures from the towers coming down, you know, you can't create them sort of...
That's what I said.
Yeah. You can't create them pictures by getting a studio in and a model in, and you know that to get genuine emotion on people's faces, you'd only get that in that kind of situation, a disaster situation. And you know, like I say, Trump ain't no actor, and I've never seen him pull that face before. I don't care how well he's doing, or you know, I think if it was staged, then Trump didn't know about it.
I think he knew. I think he would have had to have known, in my eyes, because everything was in that direction. It was all. It'd be different if you said to me. It'd be different if it was that direction. He was looking away.
That would have taken hours upon hours of rehearsing, training. I mean, if look at the other side, you know, Biden took a week off before the debate just to practice for the debate. Trump was out there every single day doing rallies. So we would have had time to train to you know, it's not something you can say, right, what's going to happen? You're going to look over there at that time, someone's going to shoot at your ear, and then you're going to pump your... He ain't going to go, yeah, I got it, I remember that, and put it off 100% like that to get the photo shot. Oh, by the way, a couple of people in the audience are going to pass away. We're going to do them in to make it look authentic. No worries, mate. Yeah, carry on. I just don't see it, mate.
I get it. I say I'm not here to sort of argue with anybody. You know, it's a theory. To me, it looked far too staged. I think more people.
Everything about it looks fake.
And I just, you know, is all you got to say is look angry. Get up and look angry. And he don't look. He looks a miserable. He can look a miserable so and so every now and again, anyway. And I get it. I do get it. I can see where people.
He looked fierce. He looked.
Yeah.
You know.
But you look at that photo though. That has just. I know what you know. That has just officially stamped every presidential seal on it.
Yeah.
You know, it's done it. Whoever did it, if it was Biden's camp or if it was Trump's camp, the deep state got what they wanted. Donald Trump in. Because they're allowing it to happen. They are allowing it to happen. If they wanted him dead, he would have been dead. It wouldn't have been a shooting. You know, it could have been anything else. You know, they would have got him dead. Simple as. Could there be another attempt on his life? I hope not, because I don't think anyone deserves that. I don't think they need to. It's going to be a hit and run accident, for example. I really do. Will he make it to the elections? Yes, I do. I think he's won the elections because the deep state want him in. Because they need something to... For 4 years, they know they've got no worry for 4 years. They're going to... Look, they've just got to live with it for 4 years. do what he's got to do, because we all know that even though he's the president of the United States, it's actually, Congress that actually pass laws, and if they don't agree, it doesn't get passed anyway. So they've only got to fully laden the Congress with people against him, and some of his laws won't get passed. And I generally feel that the name's been mentioned already. I think she will be next running. What was her name? Michelle
Harris. Oh, Michelle Obama. Yeah.
I did hear this one. I would look past both Biden and Trump. RFK is taking votes from both with no security detail provided.
I love that guy. I think he's great.
He's amazing. Yeah. He's truly amazing person.
But honestly, I think after that, that's just knocked him out of the race as well.
Yeah, I do think, but it's Joe's put loads of comments. Okay, how can you agree with Mr. Marathon? I must be Mr. Marathon. Good old ET intervention. Good ETs will secretly intervene to get Trump to prevail. I don't think there is any need. I don't think there's any need for ETs to prevail, but they've got what they want. Whatever they've done, if they've just done that. They've just signed that presidential seal. Whoever done it did it. On that notion, I suppose the only thing that could potentially happen, is that RFK could take Biden's place, because they haven't nominated officially yet, have they? If he was to step down, they could invite him to take, because he runs as an independent, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't know. I find it strange. Have you seen the video where he's on the phone with Trump and he's recording the conversation?
Yeah.
I'm very confused about that.
Yeah, it confused me. But there was only a couple of videos of it, wasn't there, as well? Did you notice?
Yeah, well, something just don't add up with that one. So I don't know if that's genuine or not. Because one, I don't believe he would do something like that, film it and then put it out to people.
No.
So that, to me, that's not his style. You know.
No.
So I don't. And the way they're talking, they seem like they get on well with each other.
Well,
sorry.
He comes across as that as well. If you listen to some of his videos, he speaks quite well of both parties without being nasty, if that makes sense. I suppose
that's what it's all about, isn't it? You know, let's stop the segregation. Let's work together. Let's find some common ground here. You know.
So what is the deep state want more money for Ukraine and then rebuild? Look into that. Russia have won the war, so we will see. Everyone is missing
trillions of pounds worth of natural resources in Ukraine, mate. That's the only reason this war's going on as long as it is, I'm telling you.
Everyone's missing the big issue, thermonuclear war. RFK comes from the most powerful family, but he is so outspoken against COVID and big pharmaceuticals. He hasn't even got endorsed by his own family, have they? Never endorsed him. So I'm worried about that the most. I take it that's the thermonuclear war. It'd be one of them things, isn't it? It'd be the end of the world, no matter how we see it.
But this is, I can't see that happening. You know, I think that's all. No, whoever pushes the button is wiping themselves out. So I don't see that coming to pass. And at the end of the day, if it does, what are you worried about? We ain't going to know nothing about it because we're going to be gone. I don't, you know, the people are genuinely scared and worried about things like, and I get it. You know, you're worried that the world's going to go that way, but
I won't know it.
Stop worrying about things you can't control. You know, you can ruin yourself.
To me, it's no different to flying. I wouldn't know about it. You know.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I don't know if Simon's still watching, but Simon, no, I'm not a very good flyer, but Simon was never a good flyer. And he always used to say to me, he said, we wouldn't know about it. And Simon now is like a perfect flyer, and I'm not a bad flyer because I just think, you know what, Simon's right. I wouldn't know about it.
Mm.
You know, it's over before it's happened. So, yeah, I sort of get it. But the bigger picture is that, you know, is this the deep state or whatever you want to call it, the new world order, or they're all in this together. They're all in this together, from our country to Europe to Asia they've all infiltrated it somewhere along the line.
Mm.
And as I said,
you know, again, I can see it changing, mate, because the world and countries are fighting back. You know, I mean, you've only got to look at Africa. What's going on in Africa at the moment? I mean, it's a long time coming, but they're finally saying no to the West. Get out of our country. You're raping and pillaging our land. You know, this is our land. Why are we in poverty and you're taking all our resources? And I think, fair play to you.
But do you not see, to me, I see that as the deep state doing that. They don't
I think it's the deep state that's been taking it.
No, I see it the other way around. Because they don't want people to travel. They want people to be 15-minute cities. So what more do you want?
Yeah, I ain't going out there taking the resources. I'm going out there on holiday.
No, but they don't want
that. They can stop people travelling, and you can still have the countries taking bits and pieces from other countries. That ain't going to stop. The only people they want to stop travelling is the general public. They're still going to have businesses and everything like that.
What they've got to do is they've got to cause this mass hysteria. They've got to cause an uprising. So they've got to make civil wars happen. They've got to make things happen within certain countries to say, you know what, you're all fighting. We're not going to have it. We're going to lock you all down. 15-minute cities come into play. They've got what they want because of the uprising.
No, I get it.
And that's and this is what I'm saying. We are never going to, people want to say that we've got this winning ability. We all think of the awakening. I think the awakening is there. I think we're just waking up to see what it is. Can we stop it? Maybe. Do I think so? I don't think we've got a God's green earth because they're too bloody clever. They will go with whatever they want to see. This has been happening for thousands of years. This isn't just a thing that's happened over. They've always adjusted their protocols. You know,
every empire has fallen, Russ. Every empire has fallen, mate. Don't matter how big they got, they've all fallen. Even us.
But we don't know. You know, we don't know what that empire is. So, you know, what's caused that to fall? What's caused that empire to fall? Is it the deep state that's caused that empire?
To me, it's the people. And I think we do have the final say. And I think it will get to a certain point where the people will say, enough is enough. And yes, it's going to go bad before it gets worse. But then the people are going to find out a way of doing it without robbing the other person to get that person rich. Everyone can. I know it's a pipe dream.
Years. It's gone on for thousands.
It could be a couple of hundreds of years, mate. But it's people are waking up. They are waking up. And I think the way of the world with technology being the way it is, you know, that's why do you think they want to ban things like TikTok? It's because people know what's actually going on. If you only watch the normal mainstream media news, you wouldn't have a clue what's going on in the world.
Yeah, but what is the best way to get you to watch TikTok? What's the best way?
Tell
them it's going to be banned. It's never going to be banned.
Oh, yeah.
It's doing it. They play into people's hands. Let's ban it. Say you're going to ban it because that means everyone's going to fight against it. And what happens? Everyone gets the downloads. I can't see, you know, I think they're far too clever for any sort of person on this world. They've been doing this for thousands of years. They can change their mission on a sixpence to go along with the line. As I sound like that bloke out of Coronation Street. But I go along the lines of, I think the whole situation of Trump is the stereotypical not finger in the works, but the way they can switch just as they want, how they want. Look, we've gone with Biden. It hasn't worked. We've got the people of the Americans on our back. We know they hate us at the moment. We can't get the person we want in. So what have we got to do? We've got to make sure that the person that they actually want gets in. So let's make him a hero for 4 years. And then with that 4 years, they've got 4 years to then put together a person, whoever it would be, if it's RFK, if it's Michelle Obama, if it's whoever coming forward. They've got 4 years to make this person out to, you know, they did it with Barack Obama and he won a landslide because they made him into something, and they will do that again to whoever is going to go. Obviously, no one can go up against Donald Trump in the next election because he's done his 8 years. And that's how I see it. You know, I see it. I think that we've had I won't say 14 years because I don't think that's too long, but I think we've had it in the UK. I think it's got to a point where the deep state have got what they've wanted in the UK with the last election. They strangled and strangled one party to know how it just didn't work, knowing what would happen. You know, I
think they're going to be the same, just under a different name.
That's what I'm saying. But they've made this. You know, let's be fair. It was a landslide. It's a landslide victory, and it's made out. Even though it wasn't a high turnout, it was still. And we only heard that mentioned a couple of times, but every news item, a landslide victory, a landslide victory. It made that party who got in, the Labour Party, to be far more superior than what it was sold as because of certain words that they put into the media. The deep state release all the information that they want. It goes deeper than that. It goes deeper than that. I would say it may not necessarily be the people that we see on TV knowing what they're doing, but there's going to be people within their government, their cabinets, their right-hand men that will infiltrate and put little seeds to build and sow. And that's how they do it in my eyes. I think it's a far more bigger than what we ever think it's going to be.
Yeah, but I don't. I get that they get people in all these different high-powered jobs, departments, politics, this and that. You know, infiltrate and get into people's ears. But I don't believe they do control everything. Because if they did, we'd be where they want us to be already, Russ.
But how do we know they're not? How do you know they're not right in that right prime position? How do we don't?
If they run everything, then we are pretty much in a simulation. This is the Matrix. But
I think we are.
Yeah, I don't. I hate to think that we are in the way that. Why does my brain work like this? Why do I have these thoughts? Why am I thinking like this? You know, there's got to be something better, and I'm going to try and do something to make it better. Not that there's much I can do, but if I can control that little circle that I'm in, then hopefully that I can spread onto someone else, and they spread out onto someone else, and it's you know it spreads out that way. But there's got to be. You'll always have dark and light. You've always got that balance. You'll always have good and evil. But I don't feel that I am controlled that way. So if we are, then I'm screwed.
I just don't see it any other way. I just don't. You think of all the shows that I've done over time, all the things that we talk about over time, you know, from things of free electric, the pyramids with alien technology in it. We know it's there. We've been lied to for years, upon years, upon years, upon years. And I you know, we look at that and we can't take that away. We're going back to medieval times and the Egyptian times of lies. And Joe did a great show once about, and each one of them blocks is 80 tons. It weighs 80 tons, and they're telling us logs and things lift them. People believe it, and you will always get people to believe it, but it doesn't make it. It makes it only believable when we have people like us that will make sure that we argue the point, because it always will run true. Because that's the balance of the world. That's balance. They need the balance. They need us to argue, and they spark the fires. Everything to do with COVID, they set the COVID up, and then they released the vaccination and said, you know what? Argue amongst yourself because it's a load of old shit. They released all the evidence. They had the doctors on there. It was their doctors. It was the deep state doctors on there. They were paid to do it by the deep state. Go on there and say it's a load of old crap, because we need people like us to argue the fact. The doctor didn't do any research into it. He's just an actor, sits on TV. That's how I see it. And that's everything that happens within this world.
I see. I just put that down to the money grab, the power and the greed.
But it's got to fund itself. It's the deep state has to fund it. So if they're going to get a little bit of bunts out of it,
the deep state don't need money. It's the power and the people under you. If you've got the power, and these people are doing everything they can for you and what you want, but there's only so far they can push it, because the people will realise and then put stuff. So then they've got to go for another avenue. So you'll get that crap come down that side, and the people push back. Right, okay, we've done enough on that one. Let's try this tactic. We'll come down that way. People push back.
And I think that that's what they. And I see
that's the yin yang. That's every action has an equal and opposite reaction. They can push us as much as they want, but we'll always push back. And
they'll just go a different take on it. And I think and this is what I'm saying about the whole Trump. That's the whole Trump scenario. I think they've tried to bat it off, and now they know they can't win. So, like you said, let's just open this avenue, because for the next 4 years we're going to be all right. They've got what they want. We can now rebuild. Simple as. They've got what they want. Everyone wins. Everyone wins,
and then they start attacking again.
But then they start again with that. Sorry, I ain't got a drink, and my mouth is really drying out. And that's how they go. I just think they can then start afresh with a new agenda of making something work that gives them potentially, 12 years now. This could potentially be 12 years of the deep state planning within the States. Give them Trump. We know that the American people like a feisty character. Give them a right-wing leader. Give them someone that's going to be a little bit stirry, because that's where we are now. But someone who will listen to us. And we've got 12 years, because we're going to give Donald Trump 4, and the new bloke or the new woman will have 8. And I think that's how it works. I think that's how it's worked. And I think this will happen. I think it's happened with our governments. I think that's why we've had a conservative government for 14 to 15 years, because they've had quite control. It become very unsettled. So they knew what was going to happen. They did it.
But what if he does a good enough job that changes the people on the other side's mind? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm no fan of like Keir Starmer. But if he makes my life better and looks like he's gonna get better, then I should change my mind. You're better than I thought you was, mate. But after the first week, I can pretty much see where that's gonna go.
Well, wasn't one of the policies, if you earned over £30,000 a year,
you won't be entitled to a state pension. And on the next minimum wage up to £15 something an hour, well, then that puts everyone over 30 grand a year. So no one to get a state. They want to get rid of the state pension. So what better way to do it?
Exactly. It's exactly.
No one will be entitled to it.
But that's been a policy. No one's kicking up about it.
Oh, I think they are.
No one said anything.
Nah, well, it's not gone through yet, has it?
No,
it's just been in discussion.
Yeah.
So
but
maybe they're waiting to see the kickback on it first before.
Yeah. You know, I say I've got no worries of. I will always say my piece, and I'm with you. You know, when we say we need to stand up and be vocal, I get it all, and I will always be vocal against it because I don't agree with it. But that's just me dealing with it. I can't change it. It aggravates me, but because I just think they're too clever for us. I think they're far too clever for us. I think they've been doing it for years. Not the same person, but that's just how I see it. Russ, it's deeper than that. The deep state want Biden, Obama to push the left-wing agenda. We'll have it with. I get it. I do get it. But I think they need that. I don't think Biden's going to be running. I don't see it. I can't.
No.
I think this is
no way.
We're either going to, you know.
The only one who says he's good enough to run at the moment is himself.
And that Wally on TikTok, the young kid.
Oh my God.
Whoever that, I can't think of his name. Is it
Harry something?
Harry S or something. It's an S name, isn't it?
Honestly, I mean, you can see why they paid him so much money because he is.
So he's so far up his arse, all you can see is his toe now. But I, you know, I know I mock Joe Biden. I know that, but I hope they don't do what my gut is saying they're going to do. I really don't, because I don't think, you know, they're all puppets in this. You know, you look at.
Ain't the way to go, is it? All they got to do is go, look, we've done another cognitive test. Sorry, yeah, there's something wrong with him. There's no way he can run. End of.
Or you just go and threaten him. Go and threaten him. Look, Joe.
I don't think he'd know what's happening, though, Russ. He'd be scared for a night and he'd wake up in the morning and think, oh, that was a strange dream. Anyway.
But, you know, they've just got to do it the right way, you know, because he has given me a good laugh over the last 4 years. And I can't, especially the last year and a half, he's been just a gift that's been given every day. Yeah. And that's not his fault. That's whatever.
Well, that's not a bad thing, is it, really? You know, no matter how bad my day is, I'll watch a Biden clip and it puts a smile on my face. So, you know, fair play to him, man.
Sorry, it's just come into my head. Sorry. I'm going to have to back now. How long we got? We've still got 20 minutes. 20 minutes, good. Right. I'm going to go back now, guys, to Paul's comment, right?
My comment.
Your comment, okay. About the assassination attempt. And you said Donald Trump wasn't an actor.
No, I said you've seen him in films, but to me, he ain't no actor.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what about that gentleman on TikTok that says everyone has, so he believes that Alec Baldwin is Donald Trump? And he thinks Jim Carrey.
Yes.
And he thinks Jim Carrey is Biden. So, what if we saw Alec Baldwin acting up there and not Donald Trump? Sorry, I've gone back on what we were saying. It just sitting there and it just come into my head.
Yeah. Nah. No, I'm not buying it.
Because the videos are not to say. Do I think that Jim Carrey is Joe Biden and Alec Baldwin is Donald Trump? No, it would be by far the most greatest, if we ever would know, the greatest prosthetics that we would ever see. It's like Face Off, isn't it? It is like Face Off.
Exactly that. I mean, some of the people we talked about, I think, I can see that. You know, people that apparently died, but with them two, nah. I think you're clutching at straws a bit. Every now and then you'll have same mannerisms on characters they play.
I know.
But other than that, it's, you know. No, I don't see that one, mate.
But we don't generally know though who was up on that stage.
No.
And we could be, you know, how many times have we said over the past year or so about Mr. Biden being two different people?
Yeah, all day long.
So, you know, it could happen. It might not, you know. And you look at little things, you know. You look at little.
Well, I actually saw.
films.
Sorry, I actually saw a mainstream media bit, and I think it might have even been in America, talking about conspiracy theories, and they showed bits about Joe Biden. You know, the old picture and the new picture, where when he was younger, his earlobes looped up,
Yeah.
and now they don't. They join straight into his neck, which is physically, you know, your body doesn't grow different like that. So you can tell it's two different people. And they actually showed them images. And I wish I wouldn't let me save it. I wish I'll remember what it was. Definitely on a main street. I can't remember what country it was either, whether it was over here or in America. But it definitely showed that conspiracy theory. And I thought, wow, they're showing a bit much here. I'm surprised that they've done that. So it could possibly be a Republican program, right? I don't think the Democrats would have put that out.
No, but you know, how often do we go for films? You know, we talk about films give us little hints into what goes on in the, you know, in the world, and Face Off, you know, and things
100%.
like that.
Great film. I love that film.
By the way, I am not sitting here saying that. I've just watched a conspiracy theorist on TikTok that one of his theories was that Alec Baldwin played Donald Trump and Jim Carrey played Joe Biden. And he does a good split screen. And to be fair, they all line up, don't they? Their noses line up, their eyes line up, their hairlines line up, their ears line up, their mouths line up, their teeth are quite identical. Am I saying that? No. But could it be a possibility? As Paul said, one of Paul's comments earlier to me, I've seen Donald Trump's acting and it's shit. So Donald Trump can come after you, not me. I thought it was quite good acting. But if we're going by that conspiracy theorists talk, what's to say that they are played? Perhaps Alec Baldwin shot Trump. Well, he's good at that. Once again, another hint. Alec Baldwin shooting. Another hint. See, they're always telling us. Trump was a Democrat. Did you know? Back up. Stop Oil protesters just got 4 years and 5 years in jail. Just heard. The tide is turning. I hope so. I don't like them. That's just blunt, me being blunt. You know, you can protest. It's not even. There's protesting. I get it. Protest, but don't take people's livelihoods away from them, and don't, you know.
Well, just have a bit of common sense, you know. Just if you didn't have oil, you wouldn't have anything. Everything pretty much used with.
I get it. I get they don't want it. I get it. Protest. I'm happy with people protesting, but what I'm not happy with is how they go about it.
Yeah,
I'm really not.
So wrong, isn't it?
I'm just not. I don't like it. I don't like when they stop the traffic. I don't like the way they can stop ambulances. I don't like the way they can stop police cars because they've glued their hands to the floor and things like that. I don't like that. Protest in a manner. Protest in a way that is structured, because it doesn't get you anywhere. In fact, you've probably done more harm than good in that situation, because you off so many people that you never got a back in. Justify what you're doing in a calmness and collective way. Don't pee off people, get a following. But you done it the wrong way. Sorry, guys, I don't agree with what you did. If anyone's listening, I don't agree with what you did. You know, that doesn't go against your principles.
We all want a cleaner planet, mate, don't we? But, you know, let's think a bit about this.
Yeah, exactly that. So, yeah, in my eyes, I'm glad they got that term in prison. They won't serve it, but they'll probably do about 8 months, probably, if that. Or probably do a month, let out on good behaviour, and go and do it again in a couple of months' time. So, but no, where are we? Oh, we've got 10 minutes. We've got 10 minutes. So, anything that you want to say, Paul? Anything?
No, all I was going to add, mate, when you was saying about acting with Donald Trump is, I don't know if you see the rally he went to the other day, where I think he had his granddaughter speaking, a few people speaking about him, and he was sitting there. He was. This is what I was going to say at the beginning when I said, you know, you got the Trump on the stage after being shot, the adrenaline's kicked in, and he's fired up. He's, you know, his heart's pumping. He's fight. And then the next time he's come out, I mean, obviously, without a doubt, he got the most almighty cheer when he come out. But even looking at him then, it was like that moment of realisation. To me, this was my final thought of the fake or not fake, you know, or staged, not staged. The emotion, you could see the emotion in him throughout the whole thing. I mean, you could see him welling up just walking out. You could see him welling up sitting there listening to his granddaughter. You could see him welling up and did it. He looked completely different to what I'd ever seen him before. Only in the way of the expressions he was giving. Right?
Two different people.
No, let me finish. It genuinely did. And to me, it looked like he was soaking up every second of it, because he looked like he genuinely thought, I shouldn't be here by now. I should not be here now. Every day from this day to now on is a gift, because I could have quite easily been unalived. And that's the kind of look I got off of that man. So that was my final thought on that. Yes, there's something very, very fishy about, when I say fake, I mean, or staged, there was something definitely wrong there, but I don't think Trump had a part in it.
I totally agree with you. I do totally agree with you in the fake/staged scenario. How it fits. To be fair, I don't know. The one thing I will say is whatever camp did it, got what they wanted. Trump win. But I do know that there has been, I think it was one of our team members put it out there that they felt spiritually it wasn't either of them.
Yeah.
So that plays a different part of it. Could Robert Kennedy Jr., you know, really ramp it up now? You know, does this sort of slightly play a ballpark to him as well? Because if,
like you said, he's had very little media time over here anyway. I mean, I don't know what it's like in the States, but from what I've seen, we've seen very little of him. So wouldn't it be interesting now if all of a sudden all we start seeing is Kennedy?
Well, it only needs, to be fair, only needs the backing of his family. It only needs the backing of his family, because he has got a lot of young voters. I
think there's a worry with that, and that's why, because he's not afraid to stand up in what he believes in. No. And I think one of the biggest casualties will be, if he does get in, would be Big Pharma, and that America runs on pharmaceuticals.
Yeah,
I think that he'll have a huge backlash.
But then is what he also does is he has this way of, you know, you look at, he was very outspoken against COVID, wasn't he? Very, very outspoken against that all the way through. And then he's very outspoken about green land. He loves his green land. He wants the green land. He wants the environment. So he plays to both us because he talks to us in a way of like, something's not right with COVID, guys. Okay, I like you. Simple as.
Yeah.
And then the younger generations who believed in COVID will forget that because he goes, but we need to save the environment, guys, as well. We've got a lot of work to do to save the environment. Well, actually, I mean, he's got two different agendas, two different people coming as one. We may not agree with something, but his policies for half and policies for the other half actually make a good balance.
But it's all about saving people, isn't it? It's not about stopping the pharmaceutical companies. It's about regulating them. If that's killing people, right, stop using it. If that's injuring people, then let's do some tests and find out why that's injuring people and take that ingredient out. With the environment, he's not going down the route of net zero or all that craziness. You know, he knows what needs to be done, but he won't ruin the countries and the doing it. No, he won't. So I've got a lot of time for the man. I think it'd be great. I know they always tell you what you want to hear when the build up, but
I just think he would. Guy. It wouldn't surprise me because I reckon he could go toe to toe with Donald Trump in a good debate.
I've seen one where he went up with Joe and Trump. He handles himself quite well.
You know, so I think Trump's won. I do think Trump's won. I think the only way you're going to stop it at the moment is by doing the horrible thing, which I think's totally wrong. But there's also that plant of, if you don't want him, put up against someone that the people would actually get behind as well and let it go.
But that's tough. You've got to find someone. You've got to find someone that people know, haven't you? And they've got to sort, because no one's going to back someone they've never met before or don't know nothing about them. At least I think with them three, they all know what they're about, really, don't they?
Yeah.
And one thing I did like about him with Kennedy, when he was talking about Trump and Biden, he said, you know, if you want to carry on the way we are, the right fighting the left fighting the right, you know, there's a constant battle and you're never going to find that equal ground. You're always at each other's throats. If you want that, if you want to fight with the right, vote Trump. If you want to fight with the left, vote Biden. If you want to put a stop to it and come together as a community, as Americans, then vote me. And I thought, brilliant, what a great thing to say. I mean, I get that. As much as I like Trump will always batter the Democrats and Biden.
Yeah.
There'll always be that fight there.
Well, I say, we've got a long way to go. It's November time, isn't it? So what we got? All July, August, September, October, 5 months, 4 months. I think we've got I think though the next few weeks, I think we'll find that Biden has either resigned, stepped down, or not running, or God forbid they've done the horrible thing. And I say I may take the pee out of him, but I don't wish that on anybody in any way, shape, or form. I don't think it's right. But it almost feels like they're just setting him up and setting him up and setting him up. You just wouldn't do that, would you? You wouldn't let this man go on TV. You wouldn't. You just wouldn't. And that's the sad thing about it.
But I think that's why they're pushing him out there now to confirm what they're trying to tell everyone. Look at the state of him. He's not, you know.
So, but thank you ever so much. I hope you've enjoyed the show. We've sort of not put the world to rights, but we've had a good debate all the way through it. I thank you for everybody that has listened in tonight. Really do appreciate it. Thank you for all your comments and all your, tagging along. Really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody that has joined in tonight. Joe, Ian, Mickey, We had loads of comments coming. Simon was
thanks,
watching,
Russ.
Christian, everybody. Maz was watching. Thank you ever so much for everybody that has joined us tonight. We'll be back next week, and I don't know what we'll be talking about next week. Who knows? If you've got a subject, let us know. But thank you ever so much for everybody that has joined us over on Pulse Talk Radio tonight. Take care and stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Thank you ever so much for everybody over on Facebook and YouTube. Really appreciate it, guys. Have a safe week and stay safe. And just remember, everything is paranormal. And if it ain't, it's not real. So take care, bye. See you later.
Bye-bye.